Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History's 20th Century Style Icon series. In this episode, I want to talk about somebody who's been on my list to do a video on for ages, but I've been prompted to do it today because yesterday I sadly learned of the passing of the wonderful Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was undoubtedly one of the biggest movie stars of the 1950s. He was born Arthur Andrew Kelm, although he took his mother's maiden name, Gellian, when his parents divorced. He joined the Coast Guard at 15, and then it was discovered that he was only 15 and he was kicked out of the Coast Guards. He then went on to become a competing figure skating champion, and then he met the actor Dick Clayton, who introduced him to the agent and producer manager Henry Wilson, who was famous for discovering and promoting pretty boy movie stars like Guy Madison or Robert Wagner. And of course, how could this gorgeous, athletic, blonde, tanned Californian possibly not become a movie star? He did a few roles, bit parts, supporting roles in movies and television, but his big breakthrough came in Island of Desire in 1952, starring opposite Linda Darnell at the height of her stardom. He was nicknamed the Sigh Guy because he had this gorgeous sigh, and as you can see, he also had this gorgeous body. He was an athlete, of course he did. So many films happened for him in the 50s, big movies like Damn Yankees in 1958. They came to Cadora, and then really, when his first movie career was waning, his last big movie was Ride the Wild Surf in 1964, where he played an older surfer, but he still looked fantastic, and he still had this wonderful body that made everybody just swoon. In between these two things, he also had a #1 pop hit, of course he did, Young Love, and he also had his TV show. He was reluctant to host a television show because he felt he was a movie star, and quite rightly, but he lost the role of Tony in West Side Story. Wouldn't he have been marvelous? And in a bit of a snit, he decided to host his own TV show, which was quite a success. But we're here to talk about Tab Hunter as a 20th century style icon, and he really truly was. In the 1950s, he had an enormous influence on the way that young men dressed. He really worked the button-down shirt and the chinos. Here he is in a sweater with various sporting or team insignia running down the side. There he is relaxing with a dog in a sweatshirt. Sweatshirts and tops with popped collars. Ski sweaters. Beautiful dress shirts with ties and sports jackets, all of it with this very neat, almost military haircut, almost a crew cut sometimes. Take a look at him there in the V-neck sweater with, of course, the ubiquitous polo shirt. I bet you can guess where I'm going with all this. Of course, Tab was doing preppy as a trend before preppy was even a thing. He was the boy next door, that all-American good guy. Basically, if a young man in the 50s didn't want to look like Elvis Presley, he wanted to look like Tab Hunter. And Tab Hunter didn't want to look like Elvis Presley. He didn't want to dress like Marlon Brando. And he knew he was not James Dean. Don't you love this picture of Tab Hunter with James Dean? There's Jimmy Dean, in his usual rebel get-up, and there is Tab with that huge smile and suntan and short back and sides hairdo and button down under a V-neck. So preppy, but so cool. By the late 1960s, Tab Hunter's star had started to fade a little bit in terms of movies, so he turned to television and was on everything. Hawaii Five-O, The Love Boat, no doubt, Fantasy Island, I'm sure, that kind of thing. But then, in the early 80s, he had a cult revival. He teamed up with John Waters and starred in the outrageous and outrageously funny movie Polyester as the love interest to Divine, himself a subject of an Ultimate Fashion History 20th Century Style Icon episode. In 1986, Tab played a sort of Clint Eastwood character in the very funny and equally outrageous Lust in the Dust, which is a completely camp caper and something of a cult favorite. And there he is again, teamed with Divine. What chemistry they had on screen. Sort of like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, but in a very warped and funny way. While all of this was going on, Tab Hunter became a celebrated equestrian. And there he is competing in some sort of show jumping tournament. What talent this guy had. Figure skating champion, movie star, pop star, and then an equestrian champion too. It's so amazing. And he lived out his days with his horses on his ranch with his partner of 35 years, the movie producer, Alan Glazer. And I don't know how he did it, but he really stayed as handsome as ever. In 2005, Tab brought out his autobiography, Tab Hunter Confidential. I confess I didn't read it, but in 2015, a documentary came out that was based on his autobiography and of course featured Tab Hunter telling his own story, Tab Hunter Confidential. It is absolutely fantastic. I recommend that you see it. Hollywood's All-American Boy had a secret. Well, I think we all know what that secret was, but it didn't impede or impair his happiness in life. He said that while he was in Hollywood during his career in the 50s, of course it was hell. He was gay at a time when it was illegal to be gay, and so he was really living two lives, his private life and of course his public life, where the studios started all of these romantic rumors about him and Debbie Reynolds and him and Natalie Wood. Insiders had the joke at the time about his quote-unquote romance with Natalie Wood. They said Natalie would and Tab wouldn't. Fortunately, times changed, and when you listen to Tab Hunter in Confidential, a smart, cool, laid-back man he is, somebody who is so happy, so full of gratitude for all the good things that have come to him in life, so at ease with some of the things that weren't so good, that I just came away sort of feeling Tab Hunter was something of a guru. Really, one of those situations where sometimes I think, what would Tab do? Because whatever Tab would do, I'm sure would be the right thing. Tab Hunter died on Sunday at the ripe old age of 86. What a life and what style right until the end. So from 1950s all-American gorgeous movie star to an all-American and gorgeous octogenarian. Rest in peace, Tab Hunter. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode on the Ultimate Fashion History. You can contact me through my website, amandahallay.com. Join our Facebook group if you haven't already. We have over 2,000 members and we have so much fun over there. Check out our publishing company, Dean Street Press. I will leave links to everything in the descriptions below. I'll be back very soon with more episodes on the Ultimate Fashion History, so just click the little circle to subscribe. And as always, thanks ever so much for watching. Bye for now.